Before we begin, I have an important announcement. Carnivores Migration is not canon. I repeat, Carnivores Migration is not canon! Hello everyone, this is Saurian Target welcoming you to a special and pretty timely Carnivores discussion video, where we're going to be discussing the Carnivores Canon. What counts as a part of the canon? What's the difference between canon and canon-styled? What is canon, what it means, and why it's not this? Now, this discussion is a good one to have right now for a number of reasons. The Carnivore story is going through, quite honestly, probably the most intense discussion and reworking it ever has. Mods are being crafted around, not just throwing in some basic premise with a few new dinosaurs and maps, but really focusing on expanding the story of Dino Hunt Corp, their alien planet, the legacy of the ancients, and of course, the structure and phylogeny of these alien dinosaurs in more detail than ever before. So much work and care is being put into everything. Stories and brand new characters are being expanded and created. Dinosaurs are being carefully categorized and reworked if needed to fit the established canon. And a cohesive map is being created of the known locations on the planet. And we'll touch on some of these new revelations in a bit, but first, for those who don't know, what even is canon? Not this. Shocking, I know. So, canon is a word that I throw around pretty frequently here on the channel, and a word I'm going to be saying pretty often in this video. What does it mean? According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, canon comes from the Greek word kanon, meaning rule. It basically boils down to a general rule, principle, or criterion by which something is judged. In the Carnivores universe, this rule or standard is a design based around or inspired by paleoart from Zdeněk Burian. The late Mr. Burian's paleoart was influential for the Carnivores creative team. In a time where Jurassic Park and The Lost World had already propelled dinosaurs into the mainstream as bird-like animals, the development team at Action Forms went out of their way to create old-world dinosaurs, huge, reptilian beasts, inspired by paleoart of the 1900s, to populate their alien planet. Even the carnivores of the Carnivores universe, which are not technically modeled after Burian's own meat-eating predators, opting for a more horizontally built Jurassic Park-esque posture, still bear Mr. Burian's essence in their texture and coloration. This is why certain dinosaur designs, like the Cityscape or the new Dinosaur Hunter ones, really mess up the established canon and show how little respect the developers had or have for the franchise's legacy. They don't care about the unique style created for the animals of planet FMMUV32. They pander to people ignorant of the franchise's history who want a bigger Spinosaurus or feathered dinosaurs. And don't get me wrong, those things are fine, just not really in the Carnivores universe, because they show a blatant disregard for the canon. To me, it's like the Chasmosaurus all over again. A needless apology, trying to retcon the designs that came before because they're outdated or people won't think they're cool. In fact, and Pohorex himself is the one who brought this up, it's a little ironic that the dinosaurs of Cityscape, so stylistically designed by Todd Marshall, are praised for their accuracy compared to the dinosaurs of Carnivores 1 or 2, when in fact they behave more sluggishly and reptile-like than the dinosaurs of the original trilogy. The Cityscape Giganotosaurus, with its horizontal build, high spines, and more anatomically correct posture, behaves more like a sluggish, elephantine lizard of 1800s paleontology than the quick, alert, and bird-like Tyrannosaurus. But I digress. This is why the Carnivores canon is important. Without it, there are no rules. Without its standard in place, you could have dinosaurs that look like this, and this, all existing in the same place. A truly horrible design combination. But thankfully, there are criteria that must be filled to be a part of the canon. But what does count in the Carnivores canon? As I mentioned earlier, what is or isn't a part of the Carnivores canon is going through arguably its most extensive discussion ever by the most prominent members of the modding community. For a long time, there were two simple categories in which Carnivores games and mods were divided. The official canon, which consisted of the officially licensed games, Carnivores 1, 2, Ice Age, Cityscape, and Mobile, and then there were mods that took place within the Carnivores universe that were not official content, although many people considered them a part of the game's official storyline, like Triassic, Reloaded, Abandoned Islands, Migration, Wastelands, the Middle Islands, the Extended Canon mod, Desperation, and other similar mods. This extended canon was, however, very open with its regulations. Anything that fit the established canon style was kind of just accepted as part of the universe by most, myself included, which led to some rather bland, conflicting, or even downright unworthy mods being a part of the story. But at the time of writing this, what counts as a part of the Carnivore story has been narrowed down to the following content. For official games, Carnivores 1, 2, Ice Age, and Cityscape. HD and Reborn are not considered canon, for obvious reasons. They're reboots, completely doing away with and restarting everything already established. And of the two timelines created in the Carnivores universe, one is infinitely more alive and thriving than the other. So it's the original storyline that gets to continue. The mobile ports, Dinosaur Hunter and Ice Age, have also gotten the boot from the canon. The biggest reason they are not considered canon is because they simply don't fit the aesthetic. The new dinosaurs and animals are clearly inspired by BBC's Walking With series, among other sources, and do not match the style of the original dinosaurs at all. And I know a lot of people like these new dinosaurs because they look cooler and more anatomically correct than the originals, but like, is that it? That's the reasoning? This whole conflict is like putting the dinosaurs from Dinosaur Revolution in the original King Kong film. Like, sure, you might think the Dinosaur Revolution dinosaurs look cooler, but do you really think they belong in the 1933 King Kong? No, they stick out like a sore thumb. So do these new dinosaurs and animals. They don't work with the canon at all. Oh, but Mr. Saurian, I can already hear the mob chant, you said Cityscape is a part of the canon and its dinosaurs don't match the canon style. And you're right, they don't. But Cityscape is far too pivotal to the story to remove, and there are ways to work around Cityscape, which are and have already been implemented. Cityscape's dinosaurs have already been retconned as the most exotic creatures on the dinosaur planet. Rare animals from an exotic sector, perfectly fit for a traveling zoo to boost revenue. In addition, the Cityscape animals will soon be not totally redesigned, but revamped to fit Mr. Burian's style. They will retain their models and basic color schemes, just revamped with Burian textures and more fluid animations, for a more cohesive and quality experience in a later build of the Middle Islands. And on that note, this is a good time to update you guys on some of the bigger changes that have happened to the Cityscape Middle Islands dinosaurs. Some people have suggested that we keep the Dinosaur Hunter dinosaurs as canon, and just stick them in the exotic sector, like we did with the Cityscape dinosaurs. But that's really hard to do when they keep making the same ones. These two in particular, Coelophysis and Oviraptor, have been particularly tricky to legitimately canonize in the past. So here's what's happening to help clarify their status on the dinosaur planet. Coelophysis, first introduced in Carnivore Cityscape, has been reclassified as Coelophysus, a reference back to its misspelled name in its debut game, and to help fit the common theme of misspelled dinosaur names in the Carnivore series. This variant is a completely different dinosaur than Coelophysis, having evolved primitive feathers along its body, and being a formidable, and kind of annoying, pack hunter. The Dinosaur Hunter Coelophysis' canonization was attempted in Carnivores Triassic, as a solitary and scaly hunter. However, since Dinosaur Hunter is no longer canon, the Triassic Coelophysis will be redesigned with a more canon-style model and skin with more fluid animations in a later patch release for Carnivores Triassic. Oviraptor has gone through a similar metamorphosis, although its future is a little less certain than the Coelophysis', so take all of this with a grain of salt right now. Since the introduction of the Dinosaur Hunter Oviraptor, the Cityscape variant had been reclassified as Renshinia, a dinosaur originally classified under the Oviraptor genus, to help the two stand apart. However, now that Dinosaur Hunter has lost its canon status, the Cityscape Oviraptor has reclaimed its title as the Oviraptor of the dinosaur planet, and Rinchinia will eventually be remade to better fit the canon style in the central sector at a later date, perhaps incorporating elements from the Dinosaur Hunter Oviraptor for its design. Which just so happens to lead us into the next topic that often confuses a lot of people. What's the difference between canon and canon style, especially in regard to full mods? At the time of writing this script, there are currently 8 Carnivores mods that are a part of the official extended canon, which, for simplicity's sake, and because I personally view them as a legitimate part of the story myself, will be called canon mods, and not all of them have been released. The Jungle, Triassic, the Middle Islands, Reloaded, Fallen Kings, Mandibles, New World, and Far North. These mods are, of course, in addition to the official games mentioned earlier as a part of the story. Some are complete, some are still in production, and some are currently being reworked and tweaked to better fit the story and aesthetic of the universe. However, not all of these canon mods are canon styled. How can that be? Well, as we've established, Carnivores content that is canon takes place in the universe as a part of the story. From Carnivores 2 to Cityscape to Triassic to the Middle Islands, these elements all form together to create a cohesive narrative about the nefarious Dino Hunt Corp and their alien planet caught in their deceitful crossfire. And how the animals of this alien planet appear dictates the canon style. As I've mentioned before, the animals of planet FMMB32 are based on Zdeněk Burian's 19th century paleoart, with huge, grizzled, and beastly herbivores, complemented by smaller, more Jurassic Park-inspired carnivores, all still sporting color schemes and textures inspired by Mr. Burian's work. This is the canon style, but not all canon elements are canon style, just as not all canon style elements are canon. Here's an example to hopefully help clarify that. Carnivores Cityscape, and by extension the Middle Islands, and A New World are canon, meaning they do take place within the Carnivores story, but they are not canon styled. Instead of earthy, natural, and pebbly-looking dinosaurs, these dinosaurs are extremely stylized, boasting brighter colors and more anatomically correct postures. Conversely, mods like Abandoned Islands and the Extended Canon mod are built in the canon style, with most of their dinosaur rosters consisting of original Carnivores dinosaurs or new dinosaurs created from the original models and textures, but for one reason or another are not canon and do not take place within the Carnivores story. A sometimes confusing topic, and I may have just made things worse, but it's helpful to remember that neither category is exclusive to the other. So there you go, guys, the hopefully clarified difference between the Carnivores canon and the canon style, as well as a little glimpse at what's coming up in the story and how it's continuously evolving. This topic often confuses a lot of people, so I hope this video has helped define the difference between the two. If you follow me on Twitter or are a part of the Carnivores Google Plus community, you already got a sneak peek at some of these revelations, like the Coelophysis and Oviraptor reorganization, but I wanted this video to be a more formal explanation that would reach a larger audience. And I hope you guys enjoyed it! What do you guys think of the canon style? Did the canon versus canon style topics confuse you? Do you prefer the work of Zdeněk Burian or Todd Marshall? Or the many different artists and sources the mobile animals copy? What do you think of the Carnivores story being essentially run by the fans? Personally, I'm 100% on board with it, given that the developers really haven't done anything with it in the 7 years they've owned it. But be sure to let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I always love the discussions that take place with you guys. And if I've just made this whole situation worse and confused everybody, feel free to ask some questions down below. I or someone else more knowledgeable on the subject will be able to help you out. And guys, thanks as always for watching. I know videos are not as frequent as they used to be over the summer, but I'm really glad I'm able to spend the extra time on polishing and refining each one. I think the extra effort is worth the longer wait time, and I hope you guys do too. It's still just amazing and truly humbling that you guys keep sticking around to watch these videos. I'm so glad I can keep you guys entertained, and I hope to do so for as long as I can. And thank you guys for all of the great feedback on the migration showcase. I am so glad I finally got it finished and released. There was a joke going around that the showcase was cursed, and for a while, I believed it. It's also a part of why I wanted to get this video out now, since in the beginning of that showcase I stated that migration was canon. That's the problem with working on a showcase for over 5 months. At the time of writing and recording, it's canon, but by the time you're putting the final touches on the video, its status is revoked. The struggle is real, but it's a fun one nonetheless. And I hope you guys are all just as excited for all of this new Carnivores content as I am. As long as you guys keep watching this content, I will for sure keep making it. Thanks again for watching, guys. You are all truly, truly the best. And I will see you guys next time.